We do want to bring you some breaking news right now. The House approving a bill to bolster the visa waiver program. The vote 407 to 19. All nays came from the Democrats. More on this House vote coming up. Republican strategist Ashley Pratte, Democratic strategist Jessica Tarlov with me now. So first and foremost, Ashley, will this make the U.S. safer?
I mean, at this point, I think what we're looking for are more restrictions when it comes to visas. When we saw what happened with Tafshin Malik in San Bernardino, that was exactly one of the problems with the K-1 visa, at least, which was probably one of the most extensive visa programs. And she was still able to use a fake address. She still had traveled to these countries. So I think in placing these restrictions, I think that we will see an outcome that is safer for Americans, but I do think that we need to look at more of a comprehensive strategy overall.
Okay, Jessica, to Ashley's point, Malik passed 3 or 4 interviews.
Right.
What do you make of this visa program, the idea that the filter will become finer?
I think it's a great thing. I think this is the discussion that we should be having, a more nuanced conversation about looking at specific countries versus, blanketing, a ban on all Muslims, for instance. Or Rand Paul proposed a bill last week that would have prohibited people from 34 countries entering the country, as well as visa waiver countries having to wait 30 days to come here, which I believe, to be very un-American in attitude and how we treat other nations, and many of them that are allies.
I think you and I can both agree on that too, Jessica.
Okay,
great.
Speaking of agreement,
it
seems as if the White House wants Silicon Valley to take a more aggressive stance. In other words, if pro-ISIS, pro-terrorist material is out there, here's the latest comment.
I will urge high-tech and law enforcement leaders to make it harder for terrorists to use technology to escape from justice.
As far as tech companies, what can they really do, Ashley?
I mean, I'm not sure what they can really do, but there's got to be something. I mean, within minutes of that San Bernardino shooting, we did see Tafshin Malik pledge her allegiance to ISIS on Facebook. So I do think that if there are any patterns or anything, if there's any information sharing that's going on, I believe at this point the Islamic State boasts the fact that they are tweeting or posting on any social media accounts about 90,000 times or posts a day. That is a huge amount, and that's where they're primarily doing all of their recruiting to mainly a younger audience. And that's why we're seeing a lot of these instances in which they are younger, middle-aged men, sometimes women, and women are tending to be more susceptible to a lot of the radicalization. So I do think when we are looking at this, we have to see how significant the role of social media is and what Silicon Valley can do to put some sort of restriction in place or a program in place to really filter out what is going on between communication for these.
And some have said Twitter is not that strong. For example, if you have terrorist 01 and that gets shut down and somebody creates terrorist 02, it seems like that keeps running almost to the extent that some pro-terrorists are actually taunting Twitter. I should also mention making death threats against the current CEO, Jack Dorsey, the former CEO, Dick Costolo. So Twitter responding, though, I should read this out, to the president's call to action, saying violent threats, the promotion of terrorism deserve no place on Twitter. Our rules make that clear. We have teams around the world actively investigating reports of rule violations. They work with law enforcement entities around the world when appropriate. But, Jessica, even if Twitter, Facebook, all the ones that we know begin to be more aggressive, don't we see more encrypted properties? What I want to know is why some Silicon Valley brain kids are not going on sabbatical and working with the government for 6 months to a year and saying, we're here to help. What do you need?
Well, that might be coming. That's a great idea. And I think also, the government, perhaps all too often, has things going on that we don't know about. And I want to have confidence in the fact that they're taking this threat seriously. And I know that this is going to open up the conversation again about the NSA and metadata surveillance. I know it's been an issue already in the campaign. It will continue to be. But with 68% of Americans feeling uneasy about the president's strategy towards ISIS, and I think it was over 80% feeling that there could be an incident on U.S. soil. This was before the San Bernardino attack, so I'm sure that that's already increased. I think that a lot more people are going to feel all right about their social media accounts being checked and more vigilance over what's going on the internet.